It's puck time. It's Friday. It's our last show of the week. I went 2-1 last night. Alex B. Smith won his 5-unit play at sportsmemo.com. And we've got Carmine the Bold Man Bianco and Andrew McInnis with us.
Clean shaven today, buddy.
Clean shaven, dude. When are you going to do those eyebrows?
I don't know, they're good.
Okay, well, we'll agree to disagree. Guys, 4 games. We've got to go fast. Let's get straight to it. Andrew, I should say, Andrew, how the hell are you?
We're doing good, Prez. It's okay. We can skip the casualties today. We'll get ready to the games. It's all good. It's all good.
Okay, well, a game that is of interest to Carmine and I, we were talking about it while waiting for you to get your butt on the show. Minnesota on the road against Florida. Both teams are back-to-back tonight. Both teams traveled. Super interesting. This doesn't happen very often. Minnesota, what a game last night. Completely shut down the Lightning. Went in to Tampa Bay, won 3-0. They were plus 230. Florida held Boston all the way to the last minute of the game and then lost 4-3. Florida has lost 6 games in a row. Minnesota's a short favorite, Andrew, minus 120. The over and under here is 6.5. Florida is playing to the over. Minnesota is an under team. I like the under in this game. I think both teams are going to be tired, and we're going to see that more from an offensive perspective. And I don't know how you can't take Minnesota, but I'm worried. I think it might be a bad spot for them after that mighty win last night. McInnis, what do you think?
I'll tell you guys, one time I was at the casino, and I saw this one guy betting against kind of the flow every single time. I believe there was 12 or 13 odds in a row, and he kept on betting even, trying to go against the grain. My point for that story is I got to go with what's working. This Minnesota team, shockingly, is doing really well right now. 6-2 in their last 8. Meanwhile, things have not been going well for Florida whatsoever. If you would have told me that a couple weeks ago, I wouldn't really have believed you. But the way things are going right now, Minnesota, the odds were being provided. I'll happily take Minnesota to keep rolling here.
Carm, really quickly on this game, the interesting thing about Minnesota is they've won a point in literally their last 8 games. It's got to be hard to play against them right now.
Listen, they're in playoff mode right now. They're playing so well defensively. 6 wins, their last 8. The 2 losses were OT losses to Nashville back-to-back.
Yes.
The 6 wins, 5 of them were on the road. And this is where you see when a team is playing any playoff-style hockey. I said it about the Blues a month and a half ago, and they went on 13-game run, that they were just playing playoff hockey where they're having fun. They've allowed 2 goals or less in those 6 wins. That's defensive hockey. But this is typically what Minnesota does, but they're actually doing it now, and they're doing it on the road. It could be a flat spot because, you see how well they played last night against Tampa, shutting down Tampa in Tampa. And Tampa had Vasilevsky in net, so it's not like they sat anyone, which they probably could do and start resting some players. But they had their whole team out there, and they shut them down. You could look at it that this is a bounce spot for them. But kind of like what Andrew said, you just have to go with what's working. You can't get off a streak just because you think, oh, this is not the time to do it. I just saw something on Twitter a little while ago that Kelly retweeted. The Chicago over. It's hit 16 games in a row.
I think it's 25 games in a row.
16 in a row, where if you put $100 and you rolled over your profit,
here we go.
Just $1.8 million right now betting the over. I'm pretty sure we quit it somewhere along the line, but it's just, if you say to yourself, they can't go over this week, or they can't go over tonight, go over tonight. And then they scored like 9 goals last night. Okay, it was the Sabres.
The reverse Florence Nightingale on the over in Chicago.
It's really two opposite teams playing right now. I mean, one team struggling, one team.
Yeah, but look, we saw that with Vancouver against the Leafs 2 nights ago, and Vancouver won. I'm telling you, listeners, be concerned. I think the play here is on the under. Sure, I want to take Minnesota, but I'm not going to. Guys, real quick before we get into the next 3 games, I just want to make mention. If you go over to the WagerTalk channel, WagerTalk TV at YouTube, Kelly put together 3 or 4 videos that are absolutely unbelievable. We brought in some of the most famous, probably the most famous blackjack card counter on the planet, and also a guy who has mastered video poker who knew that that was masterable. And these videos are literally about how to beat the blackjack table and how to beat the video poker machine. And I'm telling you, I watched them last night. It's amazing stuff. So head over to WagerTalk TV and check that out. Let's get into the Devils versus the Capitals. Carm, we'll go to you first. Capitals are minus 325. The puck line is minus 1.5, minus 125. The over and under here is 6. New Jersey has lost 4 games in a row. Washington is putting it together, guys. 5 games in a row they've won, 2 of them in a shootout. This has to be the easiest game Washington is going to be playing in a while. They need to win this game. They are in a dogfight with the New York Islanders, and it's a big dogfight. I mean, it's the difference between playing somebody like Carolina or Pittsburgh. So I think these are very important games for Washington. I like the puck line here, and I have no thoughts on the total. Carmine Bianco, what's your opinion?
Yeah, we talked about this before. This is what you're going to see with the money lines when you have teams in sort of the top 6 in either the East or the West playing the bottom 6. You're just going to see these minus 300 money lines from here on out. We saw a few of them last year in the tail end of the season, but this is just how it is right now. The puck line regulation time is probably the way to go. These are 2 teams going in opposite directions, and even though the Devils have looked respectable in losing, because they're losing, that's been at home. On the road, they've dropped like 7 of their past 10, and in those 7 losses, they've lost by an average of 3.72 goals a game. So they're definitely not close games on the road. They're getting spanked right now. You can't lay 325 with the Caps, even if you expect them to blow them out. You always have to sort of minimize in case they do get upset. You have to minimize your losses, and it's regulation time or puck line here are the only 2 options.
Andrew, 30 seconds or less. What do you think?
What I think right now about this game is I look at New Jersey and I say, this is the perfect example of a team I've been talking about where it's just, AHL roster. It's just guys trying to make a name for themselves. But I've been burnt on them, Prez. I mean, I had Columbus regulation the other night, and Columbus won, of course, in the overtime. But I'm going to go with the under 6. Okay, Washington has to buckle down defensively. And New Jersey, the only style that they've been keeping themselves in games is really clogging up the zone and kind of trapping teams. They're not really, pushing offensively. It's just kind of playing a, firm defensive style of hockey. Look at their game against Columbus, 2-1, 1-0 against Boston, 2-1 against Calgary, 2-1 against Montreal. And with the guys being injured, it's an unbelievable list, Prez. Heischer, doubtful, Miles Wood out, Pavel Zacha out, Kyle Palmieri out, Taylor Hall out. Who else is going to score for them? And I get it. Washington could probably do it themselves, but I'm going to go with under 6 for my play in this one.
He's Andrew McInnis. You can find him at sportsmemo.com. We got Carmine Bianco, the world's best soccer expert and hockey bettor extraordinaire, and also a perfect 1-0 in college basketball this season. And you can find him at WagerTalk.com. I'm the Prez, and you can find me every day at WagerTalk.com. Andrew, we're going to go to you first. Winnipeg, a dog against Carolina. Carolina's playing good hockey right now. They lost in OT against Boston, but they won 5 games before that. They've taken a point in their last 6 hockey games. They are holding on to the last wild card spot by the skin of their teeth, with Columbus nipping them in the bud. Winnipeg, a little bit of a free fall right now. They lost against Tampa Bay. They've lost 3 of their last 5 games. They've lost 8 of their last, no, that's not true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of their last 9 games. Playing the worst hockey this season, but still, I can't bet Carolina here at minus 135. The over and under is 6.5. Winnipeg zigzagging on the scoring. Only 2 against Tampa Bay, 5-5 against Columbus and Nashville, but 2-1 against Minnesota and Arizona. Carolina, though, lighting it up. 3 against Boston, 4 against Florida, 5 against St. Louis, 6 against the Kings. I don't know where to go in this game at all. I mean, if I had to bet it, which I don't, I would take Winnipeg. Andrew?
This is a really hard game for me, Prez. I look at this one and I, again, see a Winnipeg team that continues to struggle. They ran into a lot of tough teams like Nashville, like Tampa Bay, like Columbus, I guess, as well, Minnesota. And they even took a 4-1 loss to Arizona, who's been playing some great hockey, don't get me wrong, but it still is the Arizona Coyotes. And, this Carolina team, hats off to them. 10 years almost, guys, since they've made the playoffs, and they're certainly on path to doing that now. The way I see it in this one, again, this is more just a lean for me. I don't have a strong play on it, but I look for the over in this one. I'm still waiting on that offensive explosion, and Carolina seems to certainly be an over team these days. And, you kind of listed it off, Prez, the amount of goals per game they've been scoring and they've been involved in, specifically at home for them. So I think there's a chance we could see some wacky celebrations again here at home after the game. I'm going to stay away from the side, look at the over. Winnipeg, although they've been dropping some games, 6 of their last 8 have gone over the total and 4 of the last 5 on the road. So, again, there's so much talent, guys. There's so much talent in this Winnipeg team. I'm disappointed that we're not really seeing more of a display of it. But, again, their last game was that loss against Tampa Bay. So, good chance here to come out strong against the Hurricanes.
I noticed that Andrew has stopped saying "to be honest" and is now leaning and reaching for the "and again" crutch. Usually when you say "and again," that would suggest that you're saying the same thing twice. You're not. So there is no "and again." And Carm, proud of you. You haven't said "listen to me" yet.
You took it away from me. I was about to say listen. Okay.
Listen.
Okay.
That's a big European thing.
Yeah, well, Carm thinks he's Italian. Born and bred in Toronto, but he thinks he's Italian. All because his name rhymes. Carm, 30 seconds or less. What do you like in this game?
Listen.
4 games. I'm listening, Carm. I'm listening.
Listen. There's 4 games on the schedule. One of the worst things you can do is need to, or feel the need to have to find games to bet. Sometimes you can just pass on the card. But there are a couple bets tonight, and you can find them at WagerTalk.com.
Yeah, baby. Throw the sales pitch in. Listen.
It's sort of echoing what you guys thought. I actually thought the total in this game should have been 6, and I was kind of leaning to the under. So I'm a little opposite of Andrew here at 6.5. Carolina's playing well. They play well at home. I just can't lay. I'm seeing $1.60 on Carolina, 160, 165 at a couple books. I can't lay that against a Jets team that could just flip the switch at any time and put 4 on you and you're done.
It is amazing. I mean, the opening line was minus 135, and you're right. I mean, there's minus 160s. Winnipeg all the way up to 145 at some books, including Penny. 145. I like Minnesota. I like Winnipeg now.
You look at it like the Canes are steaming money wise, and then you lay the 160, and then Winnipeg wins the game 4-1, and you're like, how the hell did I lay 160 with the Canes against a team like Winnipeg? It's the way it is. Winnipeg closes out. They play tonight. They close out Sunday in Washington, and then they head home where they're much better, and they've got like a 3 or 4 game homestand there. But I'm going to pass on laying the 160. I'm actually going to take a shot on the 6.5, lean on the under. If nothing else, that's pretty much it.
Canadiens on the road playing the mighty Anaheim Ducks. Anaheim, I was on the under last night in that game, 2 nights ago in that game. They lost to St. Louis 5-4, but man, just like Florida last night against Boston, they had St. Louis on the ropes right to the bitter end. This team is a disaster. They did go over last game, but I mean, talk about an under team. They've gone under.
You call them a disaster because, it's great looking at the screen and seeing a Leaf fan and a Habs fan.
Yeah, and a Buffalo Sabres fan. Treasonous, both of you.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes.
Anaheim has gone under 7 of their last 8 games. Montreal, Carey Price is playing rock solid right now. They're leaning towards the under as well. It is 5.5 on the board. Montreal is in a back-to-back. They got whooped by San Jose last night, 5-2. Carm, we'll go to you first. What do you like in this hockey game? Oh,
listen. Typically Montreal doesn't do very well playing out west. They went to LA. They did what they were supposed to do with Price and net. They won that game 3-1. They gave Price the night off yesterday. And I think it's looking at, and I don't say you're throwing away games, but you'd rather have Price and net tonight against Anaheim, I think, than have him against a San Jose team that's playing so well. And Montreal has done terrible in San Jose. They've gone 3-12 their last 15 in the Shark Tank there, but played San Jose great at the Bell Center. I think they're like 5-1 last 6. I think I saw the stat. I think this is. I think it's an under here. I think it's a dead under unless we see something. Unless they go crazy in the first period, sort of like what they did in that St. Louis
2-1
Anaheim game. Sometimes things don't work out. But I'm leaning here. I'm surprised on the line. I was seeing like -105 both ways. I now see Montreal steamed up a bit to like -119 at Pinnacle, but. For me, I think the Habs get the win tonight. I hate saying must win because it's the worst thing you can do as a gambler. Say I'm going to bet this team because it's a must win. I just think they're a better team than Anaheim.
They need to win this game because they're going to be 2 games. Columbus will have 2 games in hand on Montreal, 2 points behind. Andrew, I literally have 2 minutes left on this show. We know you're a Habs fan. What do you like in this game?
All right. So it's not enough time to break down your tendencies, Prez, but we'll get to them one day, and then we can refocus on it. But I'm looking at this game here. I know I'm a Montreal fan. Everyone's going to think I'm being biased, but I learned yesterday the travel path and the flight paths for this team on their West Coast road trip is very interesting because they're not allowed by law to fly in to San Jose overnight, so they have to go to the place, I think, like an hour away, catch a bus. They don't get to their hotel till 4 a.m. They're all disrupted. They haven't won in San Jose since I was 2 years old. They don't do
about,
well.
What, 5 years ago?
Yeah, exactly. They don't do well on their West Coast road trip, plain and simple. But this one all lines up. They put Niemi in nets yesterday. He let in a few bad ones early on. I don't know if you guys saw those ones, but this really lines up perfectly. This team stacks up well against the Ducks because they're so fast in all 3 lines. They're going to skate circles around this Ducks team. And like Carmine said, must win is not always will win, but tonight's the case for the Habs because this one is an important one on their calendar. I'm happy to see as a Habs fan the Columbus lost yesterday, but it's like you said, Prez, they've got some games on hand versus the Habs. So this is obviously a big win here, and the Habs should be juiced a lot more. So you don't bet on the Leafs a lot, Prez. I do not bet on the Habs a lot, but this is a night that I certainly will be betting on them.
He's Andrew. The other guy's Carmine, and I'm the Prez. That, my friend, is Puck Time. Make sure to check back on Monday. Alex and Andrew, thanks so much, everybody. I like the Carm dropped the mic or threw the plane, whatever it is.
That was a plane.
Carm, see you tonight at my poker tournament, baby. Andrew, be well. Take care, everyone. Make sure to check out Morning Joe today. It's Teddy and I. Surprise visit from Theodore Covers. Later, boys.
Later, guys.